I think that just looking at your journey overall, there's some things that come up for you. And I believe that on your journey, you're uncovering and you're seeing these things, looking at all of that tension, looking at all of that network of tight fascia in your body that you're holding on to, running down the back of your body. It makes perfect sense. What I'm picking up, and the reason why I was asking about the scarring, is I'm picking up a lot of scar tissue that's there. And a lot of times we can accumulate scar tissue, not just from major injuries that we know about, but just, you get a strain, a tear here, you don't see it as a big deal, you rest, it heals, you get scar tissue. So I think that there's a lot of scar tissue there. Scar tissue holds on to a lot of negative energy. Just looking at it from a holistic and metaphysical perspective, scar tissue holds on to a lot of negative energy. And if you don't do work to break up the scar tissue to release the energy, it compounds and accumulates in your body, and it leads to health challenges that aren't usually recognized from a medical perspective. They're not looking at these things, and I believe that the wear and tear over the years has obviously contributed to this, and lifestyle has contributed to this. And I think that because of the neglect in your body, it has led to you being uncomfortable and you having these challenges. But there's a couple of things to this. When you're younger, when the body is stronger, I would say, it's more doable and you can handle a lot of these things. But when you start to get into real adulthood, like real grown manhood, and you start running into the challenges of life, running into the challenges of work and being ambitious and being driven and all of these things, what happens is you begin to deplete yourself differently. And if you don't have the understanding and the knowledge to make sure that you're replenishing properly, right? So everything that you're putting out, if you don't make sure that you're putting in an equal amount to make sure that you're nourished, to make sure that you're rebalanced, to make sure that you're healed and restored, then what happens is it starts to expose problems that have been accumulating, problems that are already there, or sometimes like the problems were on their way and now they expose themselves because now you're created weakness and imbalance. So all of the things that your body was juggling and trying to keep into balance and try to hold on to, it can no longer do that. So now it's starting to expose itself when you start realizing these challenges. And I think that that is the case for you. It's something that was accumulating and happening. From a holistic perspective, we believe that yes, emotional stressors and holding on to certain energetic blockages in your life and holding on to them there, they weaken organs and systems of your body. And if they're not addressed over time, they begin to manifest themselves physically. But it's these events, these major events, these life events, these shifts, and that could just be nutritionally not pouring in enough to yourself, neglecting yourself, not making sure that you're balanced holistically. These things start to expose, reveal themselves, because it's all language. It starts to reveal itself, show itself. So these things are coming up for you. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. When you're going to get the help, they're treating it like a symptom. So your back hurts, take the meds to stop the back from hurting. They're not going to look at making sure that you're nourished, making sure that you're loose and flexible, making sure that you're not storing stress energy there. They're not going to look at your sleep. Like, they're not looking at these things. So it's a symptomology thing. So meanwhile, you're taking these things and it's helping you to feel better, but the problem is still there. And the problem is actually still getting worse. Like pain meds and a lot of the pain modalities, they turn off the receptors. So now you can do more of what you were doing to cause the problems in the first place. People don't take it, stop the pain and settle down. It's like, oh, I can go again, so they go more. And then that breaks the body down more, which is why a lot of times it stops working. The injections, and they work for a little bit. Some people, it works for a couple years, then it works for a couple months, then it doesn't work, because it's this process that we go through. And I think that along the way with your discovery, I think you've been getting some answers. I think that it's been pointing you kind of in this right direction. I think you've tried some different modalities and getting a sense of certain things. What I don't see is you having like a guide or mentor to really help you to, like, You didn't have someone to help you to orchestrate and navigate through the things that you were doing, because I think that, you know, you're definitely on the right track. It's a lot of work, to be honest with you. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, but it's in the form of fine tuning, right? There's some fine tuning because you're touching on some great things. It's just like, which ones do you need when, how much do you need it, and when is it time to pivot to the next thing? I think that, like, that's the knowledge that you need.